Hey there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Hey Little Magpie featuring Vicki Boutin Print Shop. Now I absolutely love this specialist gold foil on vellum, but I knew that it was not something that I'd use as one single piece, so I decided to take a little pair of scissors and cut it into pieces. Obviously I did that off camera and I've picked out some colourways. Got some photos there and I've cut them circular to match these like medallions. Initially I wasn't sure whether I wanted to cut the centres out of the medallions and have the photographs in them, and that's what you can literally see me thinking on this layout. So the background piece of paper is from the ready to use mixed media pad from Vicki Boutin's range, so literally the hard work on there is already done for me and the paper is still flat. I can't recommend these mixed media pads enough. I really love them. Even though I do some mixed media myself, they're a fabulous starting point rather than a piece of white cardstock. So I want my layout to be vertical, like a column, and I want to use blues, greens, purples, that sort of colourways. There's 3 photos that I've got there. At the moment I've only got 2 on the layout. I really want to use all 3, so I'm going to see how I go later on. And I'm going to use a couple of the medallions actually to map my photos on, but slightly off centre. I've decided that why would I cut them out and then hide them? So I'm going to use them like that, and I just want to tuck some of the ephemera around them. So the tray on my left, I've gone through a lot of the ephemera in this range and I've picked out the pieces that I think are the right colourways. That's the only thing I've done. I've not actually looked at their shape or size or what they say. I've just gone by colour completely, and then I will just keep sifting through them. I find that if I focus myself by reducing the amount in front of me, I generally feel like I make a better layout, if that makes sense. Definitely focuses my mind. So I'm going through now, having a little bit of a look at what possibly could work. But I'm already liking the way it's starting to feel. I like the ampersand, but it's black and there's no actual black on this layout. So I think anything with any major black isn't going to work. So in there is ephemera. There's also some like a paper pack, so much thinner quality, like die cuts, and some of them are literally like vellum, no, like a bit like washi tape. There's some circles, like mug marks, as I would call them, you know, like spill marks. These rings I've got on the right, and they're literally like washi, and they've got a back on them, and you can peel it off, so they end up being very, very fine. And literally look like more mixed media when you use them. So I do use a couple of those later on. Now these photographs are all taken outside, and I do like adding the flowers and the leaves, and I think these butterflies are quite good as well. They are a bit on the big side, but I do find a smaller one on a sticker sheet, I think, or is it the chipboard? I'm not sure, as well, so that's a potential. And I've just realised there's a couple of flowers and leaves on the chipboard. And so I tend to cut those off with the background still attached, just so that in case I don't use them, I can put them back in the pack with everything else. But I don't like to miss out. I don't like to finish a layout and suddenly think, I wish I'd used that. So you do find me in my videos actually studying sticker sheets and chipboard sheets just to see if there's a little something that would make it. I know it's depending on how much time you have. I kind of feel that the process of making the layout is one of the most enjoyable parts for me. I mean, I do love them in the album, but I don't think any of us necessarily look at our albums often enough. But the actual process, I find it really quite relaxing and definitely helps with, obviously, with the rest of my life. Well, that actually makes me sound like a crazy person, but actually, when you've got a stressful job, sometimes it's nice just to relax, get your brain to think about something else. And if that's about where the position of a flower is on a layout, if that helps you stress relieve or just kind of get back to normality, then I think it's absolutely worth it. So this is one of those like coffee rings that I mentioned, that's on, it's a bit like washi paper, it's very fine. And I think they're just going to add that to that circular feel that I've got running down the page. I actually like how quickly this has come together, which is quite a surprise for me to make something that quick. I think those medallions from the vellum, they're the star of the show, even though you're not seeing all of them. I think they've stipulated the colour scheme that I've used, and they were really easy to fussy cut because of the vellum. You can't really see the edges. I did it in front of the TV. I did have a tray on my lap, I will admit, because of all the bits going around the curves, but it was just very easy to get those done. So I found these words, these phrases in the ephemera as well, so I'm just cutting up the ones that are potentials due to colour mainly, rather than what they say at this stage, but I'm just going to trim them off, add them to the pile. There's one straight away, it says good morning sunshine, so one of those photos we've got sunglasses on, and the other one I've used so far, it says it's the weekend baby. So these photographs were taken on a hen do in Kefalonia. By the time you see this video, I'll have a daughter-in-law officially, and this was her hen do that I was on with a really lovely bunch of ladies and all the bridesmaids. So there's the photos are from a really good memory, and I really thought they would work with, particularly with the flowers. I thought it was, to me, it gives like a Greek vibe or a holiday vibe, summer vibe, and I think that's exactly what I wanted. That photo at the top is still bugging me, that we found a heart-shaped stone in a path, and we've got our feet photographed around it. I do quite a few feet photos. Just have to ask my husband. He's convinced I'm going to create a coffee table book one day of our feet all around the world, because it's one of those things that I do tend to photograph. So I really do want to include it, but we'll see how that goes. So this heart paper is fabulous. This is from the 6x8 pad. I'm just going to, yet again, pick out colours that go, and then I'm just going to trim them properly so that I can add those in as an extra embellishment. And you can see I've gone for there's a yellowy colour as well. I think that picks out like the acidy green in some of the flowers and on the wings of the butterflies. So yeah, I'm quite happy so far with this, the way this is going. I want to make sure the purple is spread throughout. I'm not trying to graduate the colour or anything like that. I think that would make it even more complicated. So I'm just looking at popping these hearts on, seeing if there's any others that I might like. There's another nice olive green one there that might get added. It's just filling some gaps really, just keeping that column design going. I would recommend you checked out this range and more at the Hey Little Magpie store. Sarah's got some fabulous items in stock and new stuff coming all the time. So if you subscribe to her emails as well, then you'll get to find out as soon as something comes in the shop. But she's got a huge array of ranges, not just by American Crafts. And but this is where all this is from. I would really recommend it as a range. I've really enjoyed. This is my second layout. So if you have a look back through the videos, you'll find there's another one as well that I did earlier this month. Just found it really easy to design with, which isn't always the case for me. I don't know whether I'm old school or what, but it definitely spoke to me with the colours, very me. But also a wide range of colours in this, so you could use it for anything. So I've stuck this down off camera. You didn't need to see me do that. I've got some little chipboard hearts. They're in the same sort of colourways. I've cut them off on their backing just so I can move them around and have a look. And I'm going to be brave and I'm going to stick those down. I may even look for some more to add as I go along. But I possibly squeezed it in a little bit to make it more column-like when I stuck it down. When I look at the screen now, it does look a little narrower. I think that was because I wanted some more of the background to show. And it was a shame to waste it and cover it all up totally. So I find a bit of leaf that I trimmed under the flower in the centre, and using the shape of the other leaves I just tweak it into a leaf shape with a pair of small scissors, and I'm going to use that to tuck in around that central flower as well. And I quite like the way that looks. I just need to add some tape on the back to get that into position. Just struggled with the angle a little bit. I know what I wanted it to look like. And then I'm just going to see, I found a few more of those hearts. I'm going to see if I can get those tucked in as well. Otherwise it just stays in your stash. So if I can get a few more bits and pieces on, I will. I'm trying not to overfill it. I'm hoping the white space down the sides can make your eye rest. I know there's lots of theories about scrapbooking and having some space just to literally breathe as you take in a layout. I'm not sure how true it is, and I tend to just go by what I like the look of. but I'm just going through, just checking where all the hearts are, adding a few little bits more. Just going to trim the top of this medallion off at the top of the layout, so otherwise it will stick up in my album. And I have the brainwave of actually sticking it on at the bottom. Now I'll tell the story now because you will notice a difference at the end. So I stuck it on with some double-sided tape, absolutely fine. I finished the video, and when I came to photograph the layout, that piece wasn't there. I have got no clue where it is. It's probably stuck to the arm of the shirt I was wearing, or even worse, on the bottom of my slipper, but I cannot find it anywhere. So I actually cut into another medallion and stick a little bit of a bigger piece on the bottom there. I think it's from a purple one. And I just tweak the flowers at the bottom so they overlap it a little bit, and it definitely gives a much more column-like feel. So thank you very much for watching. Here's the full image with the extra bit at the bottom and some close-ups too. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again here soon. Bye for now.